said I'd show you the little brushes in action, the new brush set. So here we go with them. Let's get ready. Now, I've already put some primer on my face because I think that's always a good place to start. And that's it, blurring matte primer. But you'll notice I've actually cut it in half because when you think you can't get any more out, and believe you me, I've squeezed and squeezed this one until it wouldn't come out. But look how much is still in there. So my top tip, when you think they're empty, cut them in half. You can pop that back on to keep it from drying out and you'll get loads more out of there. So that's the first thing. My second top tip, when you're putting your base on your foundation, or in my case, my BB cream, which I like, I use one of these. It's like a little palette. They're not very expensive. You can get them off, that large online retailer. The one that's sort of got warehouses everywhere these days. And I just put a little bit on there because that way I don't get it all over my hands, because it's just a nightmare, isn't it, trying to get it off. And it doesn't help when I've actually just put some new nails on. And I don't want to have to get them wet. So there you go. So here we start with a little blender brush. Look at this. So I'm just going to put a little bit on the brush, and I'm going to use a proper mirror because I'm not very good at doing this on the okay, so that's a start, and already you can see it's calming my rosy cheeks down. I'll finish the job with some concealer shortly, but there we go. I find with BB cream, you don't really need to put it everywhere. You can just put it where you need it, and you still get that lovely flawless finish. Okay. So I'm just going to put it around the sort of middle bit of my face. There you go. Okay. Perhaps put a little bit more on. So I'm not using vast amounts of the product, and also it means there's no waste, which is I like that. I like not wasting things. Can't you tell when I cut the so-called empty packets open to get everything out, because they're never as empty as you think. So here we go. A bit more of that. There we go. Now, some people like to use a sponge. I'm not a big fan of a sponge. I prefer a brush. I'm a bit more in control with a brush. I just feel with a sponge, you end up wiping it all off again. So that doesn't really didn't really help. So there we go. That's good coverage. Just put a little bit extra on my. And the thing about this brush is, because it's quite short bristle, you can do a bit of stippling. I like that word, stippling, to just press the product into your face so that you don't have those. So look at my rosy cheeks, they've gone, pretty much gone. Okay, there we go. No more rosy cheeks, but I will have in a minute, because I'll put them back with blusher, but they'll be where I want them to be, not just shining like an elf. Oh, God, cheeks like an elf. Okay, now my next step will be some concealer. Now with this, you probably know, you can apply it directly from the applicator. Just come up. And I tend to put a little bit where I want to conceal that redness, and of course it's always a bit of a shade, a bit lighter than your base. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little bit just here and here, here and here, and then you could actually blend that in with a sponge if you wanted to, and that will cover any dark circles under your eyes. There, how's that? That's looking good, I think. So that's your blender brush. Now I will go and clean this once I've finished using it, because what you don't want is the product to build up in there, because if you do that, it takes ages to clean it, and you know, it's a breeding ground for bacteria, etc. So always clean it after use. There you go, that's a lot better, isn't it? A lot better than the rosy cheeks. So there we go. Now while that's sort of drying, I'm going to use my eyebrow pencil just to my eyebrows. Oh, of course you get the little spoolie at one end and you get the pencil at the other, and it's this teardrop shape, which means it never needs sharpening, and because it's wide at one end and narrow at the other, you can choose how you use it. So you can choose it to draw lines by going with the narrow end, or you can use it to fill by going with the fat end. Very clever, that one. So I am going to just, I'm just going to line these in a little bit. There we go. All I'm going to do is just lightly fill in my natural lashes. I'm using medium brown. It's a bit dark. It's quite close to my natural eyebrows. Not lashes, brows, isn't it? Brown colour. There you go. See the difference. And then same on this side. There we go. Just light strokes, and it doesn't overdo it, which is nice. There we go. How's that? That's better. Good. Quite like that. Just tidy up the bottom of that one. And then I can use the spoolie end and just soften it a bit. There, that's better. I like to do that. There you go. How's that? It's quite a natural shape. Put the lids back on. There. So while I've been doing that, I'm hoping this is dried off, so it's ready for the next coat. But I'll give it a little bit longer. I'm going to use the eyeshadow brush this time. And I've got the, what's this one called? This is Taupe for the Best, or Taupe for the Best. Sounds like Hope for the Best, I suppose. This is the one I like. I use this one a lot, you can tell. But this is the sort of brown earthy shades, which I really like. So I'm going to start with the paler one, which I'm going to put along just under my brow, and there, just a bit of, just lighten it a bit. A little bit more to the other side. Yeah, good. There you go, just a little bit of a highlight, really. And then I like this colour, the lighter of the two browns, which I'll use to shade my lids. I'm not going for a very strong colour, I just want to make sure it's in the right place, and this brush is really good. Look at that. And of course I'm wearing my lashes. These are on point. They're actually my favourites, I think. These are favourite for going out. I like espresso for every day, but I do like these on point for a night out. So I'm going to a ladies' night tonight to show everybody my Mia Mora products. So hopefully at the end of it, some of them will be enjoying some Mia Mora nails and some lashes and a bit of lovely Joa makeup. There we go, look at that. So it's not very it's not very in your face. It's quite subtle, but it's a really nice soft sort of effect, and the colour pigment in these products is excellent. Okay, so that's all I'm doing on there, just a little, but this brush is very good, very precise where it put the eyeshadow, and really good at blending it in as well, so I think that looks quite nice. Now next, what shall I do next? I know, we've got the angled liner brush. Now you could use this, if you use powder on your brows, you could use it for that, you could use it to do your lip liner, but I'm going to use it because I'm not very good at doing eyeliner, but I do put a little bit underneath my lower lashes, so I'm going to use the darker brown. Now I'm telling you, this is the first time I've used these brushes, so I hope I'm doing all right with them, just in case I'm getting my retaliation in first, in case it goes all wrong. So I'm just going to gently, there you go, just a little liner under there. I'm just going to smudge it with my finger. There you go. Don't need a lot, because this dark one is quite dark, and it is quite a strong colour. You really don't need a lot. So again, under this one, that little angled brush. How's that? That looks good. Happy with that. Just smudge it in a bit. Okay, now I'll put my mascara on. Now I'm still using the old one. You know, the new one comes in a tube, this sort of colour. I'm still using the old one because they last so long, and you know, waste not, want not. That's what they say. So I'm just going to put a bit of this on my lower lashes. There you go, how's that? And this is so nice because it just does not smudge, it does not clump. It's, even if you're like me and sometimes you actually catch the skin under your eye with the brush, it just doesn't make a mess. It's wonderful. There you go, that's better. I'll put a little bit more here. There we go, how's that? Put that away. Close that. We'll have a mess everywhere. Right, so I've only got 2 more things to do, because I forgot my lipstick, so I can't put that on, but so you have to imagine that one. But I'm going to put my blush tint on now, and I'm back to my trusty little palette, because this stuff, if you've ever used this stuff, less is definitely more. Or you'll end up looking like an elf if you put too much on. And the danger with squeezing it straight onto your finger, you get too much come out. What do you do with it? So this one's nearly all gone. I'm going to see a pair of scissors coming out for this one in a minute. But no, I managed to get a little bit out, and that's all you need. It really is all you need. And I'm going to use my blender brush again, just because I can spread it along here and just use the tiniest amount. You really don't need a lot with this. So I'm just going to dot that on. There we go. Okay, and blender it in. And obviously I've put the blush where I want it now, not on my rosy cheeks looking like an elf. I've actually got an elf top on, haven't I? I've just noticed. So there you go. Anyway, how's that? Blend it. Do away with those edges, and then a bit more for the other side. There we go. Very nice. I like this one. It comes in 3 shades. This one's Dusty Rose, I think, or Dusky Rose. This is the darker one of the 3. So there's a peachy one and there's a pinky one, but I like this one. There we go. How's that? A bit more maybe. Waste not, want not. That's my catchphrase. Okay, so there we have it. Now, just to finish off, of course, if you like a bronzer or if you use a powder blusher, you could use the powder brush. but I'm going to use the powder brush for something I don't use very often. It's our loose setting powder. I'm going to use this because this will really kind of lock it all in, and so it comes out. So I'm just going to tip a little bit into the lid. There we are. Okay, just on there. Get rid of any excess, and I'm just literally going to dust this because this will really set my makeup. Okay, and just make everything all look blended together and very natural. There you go. How does that look? Do you remember what I looked like at the start? If you don't, go back and have a look. So I don't look like an elf anymore except for the top. And I've got a lovely, flawless look. Look at that. Just got a bit of lipstick to go on there and I'm good to go. I hope you enjoyed seeing our new brushes. These 4 brushes, absolute bargain, in their little pouch, just £15. If you want some, get on my website now. I'm going to be getting a few of these because when I do my glow and go sessions, I need a few sets of these for people to use to try the product. So what could be better than a few sets of these, and we don't have to worry about people having to share brushes because we don't want to do that, do we? And then I can just take them away and wash them all ready for next time. So these are just, I've been waiting forever for these. I'm so pleased we've got them now. So that's just a quick run through our little brush set. Hope you enjoyed that. Have a great weekend and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.